Expedite your productivity and your performance in all realms. Measure your growth.
Either way's the day going. Either way's day going. You got to dream to win. Play for it. Don't give in when. Play for it.
Continuously.
Don't quit the dream or you pay for it.
Prioritize.
Play or you pay for it.
Accomplish it.
Either way's the day going. Play or you pay for it.
Track the outcome.
Either way's day going. The winning circle stay prudent. Losers and illusions stay feuding. Forever stay learning like a student. The same rat race got your children. The same blood suckers got you building. Televise the wars and the killings. Evil and they know it. Know they gotta pay for it. Chorus.
What role do you feel technology plays in daily distractions?
I'll tell you what role technology plays in daily distractions. With the advent of technology and all the social media platforms and even others, non-social media platforms, stimulation has been heightened, right? The stimulation for the average person is exceedingly great. The youth have all sorts of behavioral issues before their minds are even well developed or even developed enough to handle a lot of the images and propaganda and things that they're being pushed. Why? Because of all the mediums available, and sometimes these things happen indirectly because of those that they're around, the parents, i.e., relatives and all that, right? Naturally, when we consume a lot of these things unknowingly, the children see it. And, they say children emulate and they do as you do, not as they're told for the most part, right? So children are overstimulated. Adults are overstimulated. Now, technology in general is not, these are products that are developed by people who are driven and motivated to create something that impacts society, or tools that can be used for good or for bad, right? So like a knife can be used for good or bad. Armory can be used for good or bad. So technology is not necessarily what's causing the distraction. It's more of a lack of discipline and a lack of people's inability to ration their use of these things.
So what are some signs that someone might be overstimulated?
Well, I'm not a psychologist or, a health expert. Not to say that I'm not qualified to speak on, these subjects, but we know some of the patterns, right? Sometimes people become very introverted because they have all the tools at their disposal that they need to entertain themselves, and there becomes a disconnect with society. One of the major signs of it is people becoming antisocial, right? Even children these days. Back in the days growing up, a lot of our pastime activities, we spend a lot of time outdoors, right? Running around, chasing other kids, riding our bikes, playing sports, catching up with friends on the between breaks and after school and all that, sweating, getting a nice workout, staying active. So some of the not so obvious signs that we fail to connect to these overstimulation, right, is when you have children who are obese because they're so attached to their iPads or their devices and things like that. These are some signs, right? Now in adults, the more common signs are, people being antisocial, not knowing how to interact and relate with others in a social setting, being socially awkward, things like that. But I'll leave it to the experts to give more insight on, as per clinical studies and what have you.
How could someone set themselves up for maximum focus?
Setting yourself up for maximum focus, it's a decision that you have to choose to make, right? Eliminating distractions, right? Being able to say no and turn down events that don't contribute to your goals and the outcomes that you want. This is how you set yourself up for maximum focus. Being very particular, right? Intentional about the friends and the company that you keep, because people are very impressionable, right? And the younger you are, the more malleable your mind is, and the more easily influenced you are. But even as adults, people can be influenced, right, by people that you love, or people around you in general, associates, friends. So to heighten your potential for maximum focus is to remove yourself from these environments and from these people, and be intentional about focus.
So how can you control distractions with your friends and your families constantly pulling you left and right?
One word, N-O, right? Learn to say no when your goals, the milestones and the timelines and the goals that you have are more important to you than whatever activities or events that your families and friends and associates may plan. You're not going to lose these friends, right? Anyone in your circle or around you who doesn't understand the things that you're wanting to do, or who cannot see that, when you have a one-on-one and say, hey, listen, I'm not where I want to be, or I have these goals and deadlines and things that I want to accomplish, and people, if people cannot respect that, then are they really your friends? I beg to differ, right? So the answer is, no, you don't have to be, a barbarian about things, but just learn to establish boundaries and say no.
What would you say to the 20-year-old that just wants to enjoy their youth?
To the 20-year-old that just wants to enjoy your youth, I would say enjoy your youth, right? Enjoy your youth. However, in enjoying your youth, be very mindful that this is a very valuable time of your life. You want to strive to be dexterous, strive to acquire as many skills as possible, because if you can expedite your productivity and your performance in all realms, in every field or every field of your interest, right? And pick up skills that can serve you later on down the line. Even if at the time they're hobbies, right? They still can be useful hobbies. If you learn how to play the piano, play the guitar, edit, write a book, right? Any moment when you have minimal responsibilities, when you're not paying rent, you live under your parents' roof, or you're not responsible for, you have minimal responsibility. You want to take advantage of that time and acquire as many skills and as many assets that can serve you in the long term, in the long run, right? Even if you do eventually go into, you grow up and you go to college and you get a corporate job, or you take on whatever it is that you choose to do. If you've written a book in your 20s, which I know a lot of people who have, associates and friends and relatives, and you have, these books can be, even if you don't make money off of it immediately, eventually you can revise it. You can have different edits. You can re-edit it and put it back on the market, right? Because sometimes you write it from a youthful perspective, but those things are there nonetheless to be revised, and you can redeploy it, put it back out there, and it'll earn you resources down the line, no matter how small it is. Whatever skills you've picked up, you can play guitar on the side for a band, even if it's still a hobby. And if you're really good at it, they'll pay you, right? You can tour on your breaks in between work. You can teach piano lessons and so on and so forth, right? You can edit as a part-time thing, but make sure, and the little increments in income that you get makes a difference, right? From these pastime hobbies or activities that you may take for granted in your youth, living under your parents' roof, because that's a difference between you spending money from your paycheck to pay your cell phone bill, or to pay your car note or your insurance. And these things give you a great cushion. It gives you a good cushion to get ahead. Plan things in iteration. You can plan. Rest is important, right? And you can establish timelines and milestones. And I'm an advocate for getting up every 30 minutes and stretching and maybe taking a quick walk. get some sunlight, and then get back to work, right? Because when you get into the zone, into something, right, especially when it's not work for you or it's something that you would do for free, but it happens to be what you do for income or for a living, you can become attached to your devices. You can get in the zone and be sitting there for like an hour and a half or 2 hours and not notice, right? So when you step away and come back, you come back refreshed. Or in mixing, when I mix songs, master songs, things like that, eventually there's something engineers experience, called ear fatigue, where you're not hearing things as you should anymore. Sometimes it's good to take a break, make a quick store run, just do something to get away from that environment as well and come back. And you come back refreshed and even take a nap. So I'm all for taking breaks in between work, yes, that's very helpful.
Will there come a time we stop holding ourselves back? Will there come a time we get right back on track? Will there come a time we stop holding ourselves back? Will there come a time we get right back on track?
Here are 15 ways to help minimize your distractions. First of all, you want to set clear goals. Define specific, actionable objectives for your day to keep yourself focused on priorities. The next point is to create a dedicated workspace. This is very important. Your workspace is critical. So you want to try to work in an environment free from clutter and distractions. And, whether it's a quiet office or a designated spot at home, make sure you have a specific dedicated workspace cut out for your work. The next point is very important. In this day and age of social media and all the tools we have at our disposal, make sure you turn off your notifications. Yes, turn off notifications. Silence your alerts from your phone, email, social media apps, because this will avoid all the unnecessary interruptions that stop your workflow. Key point, use time blocking. Now, time blocking is a strategy that helps you allocate specific blocks of time for tasks and schedule breaks to help you maintain your focus. This is very vital. And the next point is to prioritize your tasks. Yes, priority is key. Use tools like Eisenhower Matrix or a to-do list. For instance, use these tools to focus on what's urgent and what's important. Learn to prioritize tasks. And the next point is to practice single tasking. See, you need singularity of focus to get things done, right? Avoid multitasking so much, right? In fact, when you avoid multitasking by concentrating on one task at a time, it enhances your efficiency in executing and completing that task and making room for other things. The next point is to limit social media. Yes, so not just turning off your notifications, but limit social media. You want to set boundaries on social media usage or use apps like Focus or Freedom to block distracted sites. Now, the next point is to establish a routine. Very important. Having a routine helps you a great deal. A consistent daily routine helps reduce decision fatigue and it keeps you on track. So establish a routine and stick to it. The next point is to communicate boundaries, right? Let others around you know when you're working and let them know not to disturb you or distract you unless it's absolutely necessary. So make sure that you communicate your boundaries. The next point to help you minimize disruptions is use noise cancellation tools. Invest in noise canceling headphones or play focus enhancing background sounds to block out all distractions. So utilize noise canceling tools. Critical. Another key point is to take regular breaks. This is important. Removing yourself from a specific environment and then come back to it fresh. Taking 25 minutes of work followed by a 5-minute break. This will help you stay refreshed, stay focused, and you come back ready to go at it again. The next point is to declutter your environment. Keep your workspace tidy. Now, I'm guilty of this sometimes, but this is something that enhances your workflow and it helps you minimize distractions. It reduces visual distractions. It helps improve your mental clarity. So declutter your environment. Another key point is to learn to plan ahead. Plan ahead. Start your day with a plan. Outline all your key tasks and prepare the tools and the materials that you'll need. So plan ahead. This is a very vital strategy. The next point is to practice mindfulness. Learn to stay present. Stay present and aware of your thoughts. Gently stare yourself back whenever you're off course And this will help you to stay on task whenever your mind starts to wander off. So practice mindfulness. This is an important strategy. And the last point is to avoid overcommitting, right? You can learn to say no. Learn to say no if it's to unnecessary tasks or meetings or just in general, because this helps you maintain focus on your priorities. Thank you.
Love the price you gotta pay. What's the price you gotta pay? What's that price you gotta pay? What's that price of love you gotta pay? What's that price of love you gotta pay? Fit your head in the crowd. Fit your head in the crowd. Fit your head in the crowd. Fit your head in the crowd.